We've become experts at keeping score of everything that went wrong: the job losses, the weight gain, the failed relationships, the illnesses, the financial struggles. But when was the last time you kept score of what it took to survive them? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Embracing the Fight. I'm your host, Erica Lamar. This podcast was created to normalize conversations around physical health, mental health, emotional wellness, and the battles that so many people fight silently every day. Today, we're talking about something that almost destroyed me without anyone ever seeing it. Meet Karaya Odell, a 25-year-old successful doctor who has been dating Matthias Green, who she has known since childhood. They dated until Matthias was called to ministry. He decided that though she was kind and beautiful, she was not worthy of the title First Lady. He assumed that she wouldn't relate to the women in his congregation because she never had to suffer. Karaya put in notice at the hospital that she would be relocating the next month and going into private practice. Not only was she leaving behind hurt, she was leaving behind the support and comfort of her family. When she arrived where she was going, she thought she was free to start over. She lost herself in work at the private practice. She was the problem solver, worked 80-hour weeks. People loved her, but had no idea of the internal struggle that she had each day. Not only was she not enough for a man to love her, she was now damaged goods. This is when she started keeping score. As a doctor, she should have known better, but she ignored the signs. This is when she started keeping score. She noticed everyone around her walking in purpose while she felt she was standing still. Then the partners told her they were closing the practice. Then when she turned 38, she felt like she was left behind. She stopped taking care of herself and gave up hope on having a family. She decided to seek therapy. In the session, she was asked, "What would be the thing that is holding you back?" Karaya thought, lowered her head, and said, "I don't have what I desire most, a family of my own." By going to therapy, Karaya was able to speak her truth and see that her future was still bright and available. And then she met Eric. He was a freelance photographer who believed in capturing the beauty of life one photo at a time. He showed her that it is easier to keep score when you give yourself the same rules as everyone else. He reminded her that she needed to extend herself more grace. 2 years later, they said, "I do." And shortly thereafter, she gave birth to twins. Thriving medical practice, beautiful family, and a love filled with grace for herself that she never would have imagined if she hadn't spoken her truth. Eric helped her to change how she took score. If this is you, know that you too can change the scoreboard. Today's episode is called The Scoreboard, because sometimes the biggest fight isn't against cancer, divorce, grief, financial hardship, betrayal, or loss. Sometimes the biggest fight is against the way we keep score. Have you ever had someone look at your life and say, "You're so strong. I don't know how you do it. You always seem to bounce back"? And inside you're thinking, if you only knew how exhausted I am. If you only knew what keeps me awake at night. If you only knew the storm that lives behind this smile. People see us standing. They don't see the battle it takes to remain standing. Many of us spend our lives keeping score: marriage, career, money, children, health, possessions, titles, achievements. And when those things don't line up the way we imagine, we begin telling ourselves a story. A story that says you're behind, you're failing, you're losing. But what if you're measuring your life with the wrong scoreboard? Most of us had a picture of what life would look like by now. The spouse, the house, the career, the savings account, the vacations, the family, the freedom. And when life doesn't unfold according to our blueprint, we often assume something is wrong with us. But life isn't a straight line. It's a series of valleys, mountains, detours, and unexpected turns. Let's tell the truth. Some people aren't failing. They're surviving. There's a difference. The woman fighting cancer isn't failing. The man rebuilding after divorce isn't failing. The caregiver sacrificing for aging parents isn't failing. The person struggling to get out of bed isn't failing. They're surviving, and survival deserves more respect than most people give it. The absence of grace creates a false reality. Read that again. The absence of grace creates a false reality. When we refuse to extend grace to ourselves, we stop seeing the whole picture. We only see what we haven't accomplished. We only see what's missing. We only see what didn't happen. And eventually we begin believing a lie about our lives. When I looked at my own scoreboard, I saw losses, job loss, health challenges, financial struggles. Relationship disappointments, dreams delayed, plans interrupted, and every day I stared at those losses. But I ignored something important. I was still here, still standing, still fighting, still believing. The scoreboard never counted. The nights you cried and got up anyway, the courage it took to start over. The prayers nobody heard, the doctor's appointments, the disappointments you survived, the betrayals that didn't make you bitter, the people you helped while you were hurting. That's not failure, that's resilience. Comparison is one of the most dangerous scorekeepers in the world. You compare your chapter 3 to someone's chapter 20. You compare your struggle to someone's highlight reel. You compare your wounds to someone's victories. And before long, you begin disqualifying your own journey. Stop comparing. Your story deserves its own respect. The hidden cost of keeping score is that eventually you stop celebrating yourself. You stop noticing growth. You stop acknowledging progress. You stop recognizing healing. You become so focused on where you aren't that you forget how far you've come. And that's a dangerous place to live. What if we created a different scoreboard instead of how much money do I have? Ask, how many times did I refuse to quit instead of how many things did I lose? Ask, how much strength did I gain? Instead of why am I not there yet? Ask, how far have I already come? Grace isn't pretending things are okay. Grace isn't lowering standards. Grace isn't avoiding responsibility. Grace is acknowledging reality honestly while refusing to condemn yourself. But I am still worthy of love, healing, and hope. Someone listening today feels defeated. Someone feels behind. Someone feels forgotten. Someone is staring at their own scoreboard. I need you to hear this. Your value is not determined by your current circumstances. Your worth is not attached to your income. Your purpose is not canceled because life got hard. You are more than your losses. Healing begins when we stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what have I survived? Healing begins when we stop punishing ourselves for not being who we used to be. Healing begins when we honor the person we've become. Healing begins when we extend grace inward, the same grace we've spent our entire lives giving everyone else. If nobody has told you lately, I'm proud of you. Not because your life is perfect, not because you've reached every goal, not because you figured everything out. I'm proud of you because you're still here. You're still fighting. You're still hoping. You're still trying. And that matters. So before you close this episode, take one last look at your scoreboard. Then ask yourself, am I measuring my life by what I've lost or by what I've survived? Thank you for joining me for another episode of Embracing the Fight. If this episode helped you, please share it with someone who may need it. Remember, the fight isn't over, and neither are you. Until next time, keep embracing the fight. And as always, I want you to have an absolutely amazing day.